My name's Michelle, and this is our third year at St. Croix Montessori. I have two daughters here, a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. And the 7-year-old's her first year in elementary, and my 4-year-old's her first year in primary. When my 7-year-old was maybe about 1, I discovered Montessori, looking online, reading about it, trying to incorporate it into our house. But it wasn't until we came to tour St. Croix Montessori that I really saw it in action in a classroom, and I was so floored. I sat there watching the children and thinking, this is the most peaceful I've ever felt, and that if everyone could have an education like this, the world would just be a different place. And I just knew right then, sitting there, that we had to come here. It seemed like in both watching the primary and elementary classrooms that it seemed like I was watching it unfold, or watching the action happen of things that everyone had always said were impossible. It would be impossible to have a classroom of children doing all different things. It would be impossible for children to be motivated without forcing them into tests and homework and grades. It would be impossible for children to naturally be curious about learning. And here it was happening, all of these children working on different things, motivated only by their own interest in learning, and watching that be fostered. It was magical.
My name is Joanne. I have 2 kids going to St. Croix Montessori. The oldest is in 5th grade, and she started at St. Croix Montessori when she was 3. My youngest is 7 and started in toddler class when he was about 16 months. When we came to the open house at St. Croix Montessori, it was after hours and some of the students were still around, and my oldest was around 3 at that time. And so I walked in, she's holding my hand really tightly, and as we walk in through the door, we put our jackets away, and 2 little girls come over and they grab her and they just run off while we were walking around. And it was just the greatest feeling that she had. She wasn't scared, she was happy, and at that particular point we said, this is the school for my daughter. One of the things we appreciate about Montessori is this idea of mixed age classes. You have your child go through 3 years of the same set of students with the same guide. And when they get to the higher end of their class range, they take on leadership roles. And so my youngest has always been the youngest at home. He gets to have what he wants. He gets to sort of lead through things. And what they started doing when he got to the upper age was they gave him a younger student to become a leader, to support. And what he did was help the child through the class, help the child figure out what to do, and that built a sense of leadership in him that he didn't necessarily get at home, but he got at school, and you could sense the sense of maturity he had when he got home, and a sense of ownership that he felt when he was in these classes. And so part of the Montessori program is this idea of independence and leadership that they do a really good job of.
So one of the things that we've noticed in both of our children since starting here at St. Croix Montessori School is just their increased confidence. You know, from the fact that they've learned how to tie their shoelaces to the fact that, you know, they're accomplishing these difficult math problems and doing these long research presentations, and it just seems like the complication factor has been removed here, and they don't look at research as, oh my gosh, I have to write 4 or 5 sentences, and then I have to pick out the grammar and identify, you know, all of these different components of the words and the sentences. They see it as this fun, enlightening project where they get to learn something new about a topic that they get to choose. And then they put it all together, and at the end they've got, you know, a couple paragraphs of their work, and it just seems so effortless, and they have smiles on their faces when they're doing it.
we really knew that the St. Croix Montessori School was the right fit for us when, not only did the kids start coming home showing us their accomplishments and, really opened our eyes, but also just fell in love and coming here every day, enthusiastic about getting up in the morning and going to school and not wanting us to pick them up because they're not done. That really just showed us how much they love it here and how much, everybody here means to them and to us.
From our experience, the community here at St. Croix Montessori School is more than we ever really imagined a school community could be. For the few events that we have been able to have this year because of COVID, they've been very successful, and it seems like the turnout is really high, and when people come, they're very friendly. I know that we have felt very warm and welcomed into this community as, first time attendees, and it's just really nice that people are kind of seeking out the new faces to try and introduce themselves and to see if you have any questions or to just make you feel included and welcome. And it's just really fun to see everyone come together, for the good of the school with, the fall and spring work days and trying to, make things look really nice. And then, even from the ice cream socials, and it's been really fun meeting new parents who also share the same kind of goal of education with your children and just that same philosophy. And it's really nice to see parents so engaged and so supportive of this community.